the African Diaspora have traveled through the universe for millennia. No matter where we find ourselves, we arrive knowing that Earth is our home. We're here to commune with our ancestors. The dead may not be visible, but they're never absent. Before we begin, let us honor this land and its people. We stand on the homeland of many indigenous nations, Huron-Wendat, Petun, Seneca, Mississaugas of the New Credits. As their guests, we give thanks. Ashe. Our people originated in Africa, mother of all humanity. For 400 years, millions of us were ripped from our mother's womb, taken away from our families, our lands, our homes, forced across the Atlantic. We survived unspeakable horror, trapped in the tombs of slave ships. Under the constant threat of violence, we were forced to build the wealth of people who stole us, as they stole this land. When slavery was abolished, we were not compensated for our pain, but they were compensated for the loss of their property. Now, the reckoning has come. Justice has been served. Together, let's enter a time when the crimes against humanity have been exposed, and those whose futures were stolen have been compensated. We have not only survived, we have thrived. We invented whole new cultures and new ways of being here on Earth and on other stars. Immerse yourself in this knowledge. Savor it in your body.
Our hope is in us as we stand as one.
This is a walk commemorating the BlackGrange. This walk is an act of memory, love, and care. We invite you to come along with us to honor the ancestors. Let us begin. These walls have witnessed the past, and they will see the future. Listen. Listen closely. Listen for sounds of the future. Listen for echoes of the past. Listen within. Listen above. Listen below. Listen on the frequency of justice. Listen for the agents of change. Wilson Ruffin Abbott and Ellen Abbott were business owners in Mobile, Alabama. As the Jim Crow South became increasingly violent, the Abbotts, like many Black people, decided to move north. In 1833, when Britain ended 2 centuries of slavery in all its empires, including Canada, the Abbotts decided that Toronto would be their new home. 2 years later, their son Anderson was born. The Abbotts applied the business skills they brought with them to buying and renting land and houses in Toronto, Niagara, Hamilton, and Owen Sound. They became very wealthy, which meant that their children could go to the best schools. Anderson made history when he became the first Canadian-born Black doctor. He graduated from Toronto School of Medicine in 1857. One of Anderson's friends was his mentor, Dr. Alexander Thomas Augusta. Alexander, who was born in Virginia, migrated here to become the first Black graduate of medicine in Upper Canada. Both men were abolitionists. In 1851, Anderson was one of the founders of the Anti-Slavery Society in Canada. When the American Civil War broke out in 1863, they both joined the Union Army to fight for the freedom of people of African descent. Alexander became the chief surgeon of the District of Columbia's Colored Regiment, and Anderson became his assistant surgeon. The two handsome Black doctors had many adventures together, including crashing a party at the White House. Anderson describes the scene when they arrive at the White House in uniform.
They stared at us for half an hour or so. We couldn't have been more surprised ourselves, nor could we have created more surprise had we been dropped down upon them through the skylight.
Anderson returned to Canada in 1866, where he continued his illustrious career as a physician, chief coroner, school trustee, and writer. He was an advocate for accessible education for Black children and continued to fight for the rights of people of African descent. Anderson Ruffin Abbott died in 1913. Rest in power, Dr. Abbott. Ashe. Let's go to the next stop at Beverly and Cecil Street. As you walk south along Beverly, listen for echoes of the past and think about who and what is buried under your feet.